Hello, welcome to Cruise Today, your first port of call to be kept up to date with the world of cruising right here on your brand new TV Cruise channel. I'm Neil Newton, and coming up in this month's programme, we've got the latest cruise news, including the launch of two brand new mega ships, the Carnival Vista and Ovation of the Seas. Cruise journalist and world traveller Jane Archer will be here to share her tales and adventures of cruising the world. Our destination delve will take us into the heart of the Canary Islands to explore the popular port of Santa Cruz de Tenerife. Plus, we get your views on size as we ask if bigger is better when it comes to cruise ships. We start with the latest figures released to us here at Cruise Today, and they show that cruising as a holiday option has never been so popular. In fact, it's reached a 7-year high. According to the Cruise Lines International Association, 1,789,000 people took a cruise in 2015. The UK also boasts the highest growth of all European countries. Despite a decline in other tourism sectors, the cruise industry remains strong. Cruise departures from the UK account for a massive 47% of traffic. That makes cruising good for our major port cities such as Liverpool, Southampton and Newcastle. New ships to enter service and more lines committing to European waters are being cited for the increases. After months of hype, it's welcome to the water for Carnival Cruise Line's latest ship, the Carnival Vista. She has now entered service, calling Barcelona home. Just under 4,000 passengers will be on board at any one time to enjoy several firsts for the company and for the cruise industry. The first ever IMAX theatre at sea brings the latest Hollywood blockbusters to Vista. Thrill seekers will want to experience the pedal-powered Sky Ride, as well as something pretty thrilling when it comes to water slides. And Carnival have introduced Family Harbour and Havana Cabana cabins. Vista is significant to the European market as she becomes the first Carnival ship to be positioned in continental waters for 3 years, proof that the UK and Europe's appetite for cruising has only increased. Another line to welcome a vessel into their fleet is Holland America Line. They've taken delivery of MS Koningsdam. She becomes the first Pinnacle-class ship within the fleet following the official signing at an Italian shipyard. After the necessary paperwork was completed, the Dutch flag was raised high above her decks. When at full capacity, she'll carry 2,650 passengers, and Koningsdam will spend summer in her home port of Amsterdam with European and Baltic sailings. Come September, she returns to the Med and sets off for Florida and the Caribbean in the autumn. There's further good news for the UK this month as cruise and maritime voyages announce new sailings from Belfast and Dublin, Cardiff and Newport. There's also a new addition to the family, the flagship Columbus. Already within the fleet are Magellan, Marco Polo, Astoria and Astor. So what do we know? Well, she can carry 1,400 passengers. Great news for solo travellers too, as there are 150 single occupancy cabins. In terms of luxury, 64 deluxe balcony cabins feature, and Columbus will be predominantly an adult-only ship with the exception of 2 special cruises that comes in August which hold no restrictions. They are to the Norwegian fjords and the Canary Islands. Changes are afoot at Royal Caribbean this May as the line confirms to Cruise Today that they are to reposition several of their ships over the next few years. Anthem and Rhapsody of the Seas will be both sailing the Caribbean itineraries from Fort Lauderdale from 2017. There'll also be New England and Canada trips out of Bayonne. Meanwhile, Grandeur of the Seas is headed for Baltimore in 2017 and 2018. Navigator of the Seas, she'll sail from Miami. Independence of the Seas and both Freedom and Serenade of the Seas will also work out of Fort Lauderdale. Finally, Jewel of the Seas will be calling Puerto Rico home as she offers week-long itineraries across the Caribbean. We stay with Royal Caribbean now, as they have proudly unveiled their latest vessel, Ovation of the Seas, to the world. It's the third Quantum-class ship and comes hot on the heels of sister ships Quantum and Anthem. Launched in Southampton last month, she's already embarked on short sailings in Europe. She then heads off to Dubai, then on to Singapore, and she will be aimed at the Chinese market, so there'll be more Asian infusion restaurants on board. And Ovation of the Seas is being tweaked to serve the Australian market too. Royal Caribbean say Johnny Rocket's Burger Bar will be replaced by a noodle outfit. With a maximum number of 4,180 passengers on board, Ovation stays true to the floating resort theme famed by the line. And later in the programme, indeed, we'll have more on Ovation as my guest travel journalist Jane Archer joins me to chat about the latest innovations on board. Now, those of us who favour the all-inclusive option of cruising will be pleased to learn that there's a new offer from Thomson come next summer. The company's first ever all-inclusive ship, the TUI Discovery, will welcome its first paying passengers. It's part of a rebrand which sees TUI added to its ship names. All-inclusive drinks, wider dining choices and enhanced entertainment are also on the cards. Thomson's 5 ships will be based across the Mediterranean. 12 new itineraries include journeys from the UK to the Norwegian fjords and the Baltics. And new ports set for visits include Wismar in Germany, that's for Berlin and Hamburg, Gdynia in Poland for Gdansk, Roses, Spain and Zakynthos Town as well. She was the darling of Hollywood, the epitome of glamour, and now the wardrobe of Marilyn Monroe is headed for Cunard Cruise Line. Queen Mary II will play host to a whole load of memorabilia from the golden age of Hollywood. Items from the private collection will be on show during a transatlantic sailing between the 9th and 16th of August. If you're a Marilyn fan, there's even the chance to buy one of the screen icons' frocks. Photos, jewellery and personal effects will also come under the hammer during the shore-based auction. And the event coincides with what would have been Marilyn Monroe's 90th birthday. There'll be a Marilyn lookalike on board, also to add to the atmosphere of the cruise. Champagne corks were popping at Norwegian Cruise Line as the keel laying ceremony took place for their latest vessel, the Norwegian Joy. Attention was focused on German shipyard Meyer Werft, who are building the 164,000-tonne vessel on behalf of NCL. When launched next summer, she will become the company's first ever cruise ship designed exclusively for the Chinese market. So what's planned? Well, family-friendly staterooms, an interactive Galaxy Pavilion, car racing simulators and bumper cars. On top deck, there will be the only racetrack at sea. Sounds a lot of fun. Finally, in the news this month, there are plenty of new ships about to enter the cruise market. At MSC Cruise Line, they've had the fountain pen out to sign a letter of intent to build a maximum of 4 new ships. The deal with a French shipbuilder would see the first delivered in 2022, and the order equates to almost €4 billion worth of investment. Not one to be left behind though, Carnival have also unveiled their future intentions. They have a possible 5 new vessels on the way after agreeing a deal with Italian yard Finchiranti. In this case, the new ships are for the Costa Asia and P&O Cruises Australia arms of the cruise operation. They're expected to carry 4,200 passengers each. And 5-star American Princess Cruise Line have also been exercising their spending power. 2 new additions to the family are to enter service between 2019 and 2020. Insiders tell me that they will become the 4th and 5th class Royal ships. When launched, they will carry over 3,500 passengers. Already, of course, in the fleet are Royal Princess, Regal Princess and then Majestic Princess, which is scheduled to depart summer 2017 from China. And Princess are yet to reveal where the ships will be based. We'll keep an eye on that for you. You can always get in touch and share your views on the stories we've been covering this month. You can find us on Facebook and Twitter. All you need to do is search for TV Cruise Channel. We really would love to hear from you. Still to come, Jane Archer will be here to share her vast experience. Plus, our talking topic this month is asking whether bigger is better. That's all ahead on Cruise Today after we take this very quick break. Do stay tuned our way. Welcome back to May's edition of Cruise Today here on your brand new TV cruise channel. I'm Neil Newton. I'll be with you every month for your essential digest of cruise news, features and views. Still to come in the programme, I'll be chatting with Jane Archer. Plus, does size matter? Stay with us to find out more, but before all that, it's time for our destination delve as we spend 60 seconds in Tenerife. When you cruise to Tenerife, you'll most likely dock in the bustling northern city of Santa Cruz. Some of the island's best sightseeing attractions are found here, including the Palmatum of Santa Cruz de Tenerife, which is a huge botanical garden featuring one of the world's largest collections of palm trees. There are many museums too, including one which is dedicated to the fascinating geography of the island. Every February, the city hosts the month-long Carnival of Santa Cruz de Tenerife, a vibrant celebration that attracts around 1 million people from all over the globe. Tenerife is a duty-free area. It's the perfect place to purchase wine, spirits, perfume or electronic items. If you fancy sampling the island's local produce, head to the local markets, including the flea market that's held in Santa Cruz every Sunday morning. Local handicrafts such as pottery and embroidery are also sold here. Tenerife there, definitely my favourite of the Canary Islands. Now we move on, and my guest on this month's programme is quite simply one of Britain's leading cruise experts. As a columnist for the Telegraph newspaper, she spends much of a year at sea uncovering the best of cruising, whether that be big or small, low cost or luxurious. I'm delighted to welcome Jane Archer onto my first programme. Jane, thanks so much for joining us. Your life just sounds idyllic.
Oh, thank you very much for having me. Yeah, my life is pretty idyllic, actually, and it's unfortunate that work gets in the way of the cruising now and then.
Jane, tell us how your cruising adventure began.
Well, gosh, well, we're going back about 20 years, I guess, and I just had to be in the right place at the right time, and somebody needed something doing about cruising, and there I was, and stepped in and decided that this was the life for me, and I was going to become the expert, which is what I did. Over
a 20-year career as a cruise journalist, you must have seen scores of changes when it comes to cruising. I mean, cruising now is incredibly popular. How was it positioned sort of 20 years back?
Well, it was popular, but I mean, we were talking of many fewer numbers of people who went cruising. It was growing. It has been growing really since for the past 20 years. Each year more and more. But we were starting at quite small numbers back then. It was very much, I would say, a niche holiday, whereas now it's very much a mainstream holiday. And yes, over that time there's been a huge number of changes in the whole way that people cruise. I mean, then it was still very much more traditional. Now it's all that tradition is sort of going by the wayside. There is a new generation of people coming in who want something a bit different, and the cruise lines are catering for that.
And of course, as well, with the increased competition, prices have come down. So maybe once it was just the domain of people who had saved for a holiday, or the retired or the wealthy, these days people can take a cruise holiday as very much a last-minute option, can't they?
Oh, absolutely, yes. Yeah, and you're right, yes, prices have come down. And you're right, again, because there is so much competition out there, so many new ships have come in. I mean, over these past 20 years, there have been a phenomenal number of new ships. So that means there's new berths, there's additional capacity. And, of course, it's a supply and demand thing. Prices do come down, and it does make it much more affordable. I mean, you can even find very, very luxurious cruises these days. Fantastic prices. It's there for everybody.
Let's concentrate on what's happening now in 2016. Going to be a very big year. It has been already, but there's lots of new ships coming into the market. Tell us about some of your highlights, maybe that you've seen, maybe that you're about to encounter.
Well, they're all about to happen, actually. There's been the Royal Caribbean's Ovation of the Seas. That's sort of arrived, and it's just doing a little bit over here, and then it'll be over to China.
What did you make of her?
Oh, it's great. It's absolutely lovely ship. It's the third in a series, so a lot of what you see is new, but because it's going over to China, they've tweaked it slightly to appeal to the Chinese market. And it just works very well. The whole thing works particularly well. It's all come together, if you like. It's the third in the series, as I say. So, you know, you've done all your learning curves. You've got it all coming together and making it work, which was great. Everything was so well organised. Crew were absolutely lovely. Very, very good food. Enjoyed it immensely. That was really good. And the Carnival Vista has just launched, which is an amazing ship. I mean, I don't know if you can imagine this, but around the top of it, there is this it's like a bike track, and these bikes are hanging from it. They call them recumbent, which doesn't really sound very attractive, does it? But you sit inside it and pedal your way round the top of the ship. I mean, it's absolutely phenomenal. And there's lots of other really great features in there as well. This ropes course, you can go clambering around a ropes course, walking on tight ropes. I really just can't imagine what that's going to be like.
Are you going to have a go?
I hope so. I hope so. I have to say, I am not very good with heights. So, although I intend to, when I actually look at them, I don't know whether I'll be able to or not, but if I don't, I'll be really, really upset that I haven't been able to. So I'm looking forward to that one very much. And then we got Harmony of the Seas, so another Royal Caribbean ship coming in. That'll be the world's biggest cruise ship. Really, really wonderful.
Now, I mentioned before as well about, in the introduction, that you have a great job. I'm very envious. You've just actually come back from a cruise with Azamara.
Yes.
You've been on the Azamara journey.
I was on the Azamara journey.
Did you find that?
Yes, looking very, very nice. It's just had quite a major refit. I think it's the biggest refit the ship has ever had. And, you know, it's about 15 or so years old, so it was time for it. But it's looking lovely. And they've put in these two very nice spa cabins, which absolutely look glorious. Really, really a treat if you can get into one of those, but there are only two, unfortunately. Lovely outdoor eating area for the evening. It was always there as a grill at lunchtime by the pool, but now it comes in the evening, and it all has tablecloths and it's all laid out. Absolutely wonderful. If you're somewhere warm, you do need to be warm, to be sitting outside, I can imagine that would be fantastic. And you've got the views of the sea, really lovely.
Of course, the smaller ships as well, the beauty lies in the fact that they can get into ports that the big ships just can't.
Absolutely, yes.
Especially with the likes of Azamara. The shore excursions are a phenomenally big part of the holiday, aren't they?
As far as I'm concerned, yeah, the destination is really, really important. I mean, that's what cruising is all about. So you get on your ship, you unpack, and your floating hotel takes you to the most amazing destinations. And some of them, yes, I mean, they're places that you could go anyway. It may be to Rome, it may be to Florence, whatever. But the little ships, they can get into these tiny ports which you've never heard of, and you can go and see some of the most amazing places and learn about cultures that you probably otherwise wouldn't. And so, yes, going ashore, learning about, seeing, it's all part of the experience as far as I'm concerned.
I'm going to do something now called the Quick Fire 5. OK, and I've sprung it on you.
Oh, gosh,
we haven't
really?
spoke about it before the programme. My director's just gone, what's the Quick Fire 5? You're about to find out.
Oh, dear.
OK, so it's 5 questions, and just answer me as quick as you can with an answer. They're no yes or no answers. Favourite Caribbean island, Jane Archer?
Cuba.
Cuba, OK. Favourite onboard cocktail?
Margarita.
Margarita, OK. Your most memorable shore excursion?
Ooh, canyoning.
Canyoning?
Canyoning, yes.
Canyoning?
Terrified the life out of me. It was my daughter's fault.
What's canyoning?
Well, we had to get into these wetsuits.
Yeah.
And we were taken down into a river, and basically we walked along this riverbed. Now, I know that does sound really rather dull, doesn't it? But there are these huge boulders in the way, absolutely enormous. So you have to climb over the boulders, and then you climb up them, and then you have to slide down the other side. And they have actually, people have done it so often that there are like slides coming down, and those who are really brave, they could climb up a cliff and jump into the water, and right at the very end there was one last slide, and again those who were really brave were able to do it head first. It took all my courage just to do it feet first, I have to say, but that was crazy, absolutely crazy, but great fun.
Most memorable meal?
Oh gosh, that's difficult. It has to be maybe the other day on Azamara Journey in Prime Steakhouse. Oh. Lovely, Prime 7 Steakhouse.
I would join you on that one.
Lovely.
Finally, on the quick fire 5, can you tell me the most comfortable bed that you've experienced on a cruise ship? What line was it on?
Oh gosh, again, that is so difficult. Do you know what? They all have such comfortable beds now. So another plug for Azamara Journey. The bed on there was lovely, but the bed on Ovation of the Seas was also absolutely fantastic. And I know on Holland America Line they're going to be good because they've got new ones, and the old ones were good as well. So if the new ones aren't better, then I want my money back.
Jane Archer, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much indeed for popping in and chatting cruises here on the sofa.
Delighted. Thank you very much.
Now, this year, Royal Caribbean, Carnival, Holland America and Regent Seven Seas all unveiled their largest ever vessels. So it got us wondering here at Cruise Today whether size matters. Is bigger better when it comes to cruise ships? Well, we posed that precise question on our Facebook page, and just time for a few of your comments. Adrian from Dorset is in between. He says, Neil, I prefer the medium-sized ships as I find them easier to get around. Thanks, Adrian. Anne from Glasgow says size does matter. She says she's looking to go on her first cruise and will prefer a smaller adult-only ship as she's taking her 84-year-old mother with her. And Ray from Doncaster reckons all ships are great. He says he's been on larger and smaller ships. Each have their own atmosphere and unique benefits. It's just a matter of personal taste. We also ran a poll on our Twitter page asking which type of ship you prefer, and you told me 81% of you, in fact, prefer mega ships, whilst 19% prefer smaller ships. You can always join in on the conversation, plus vote in our polls. Just find us on Facebook and Twitter. Hit the like and follow buttons. We'd love to hear, of course, your views. And that's a wrap on this month's edition of Cruise Today. Do join me in June when we'll be giving you a first glimpse on board the world's biggest cruise ship. That's the brand new Harmony of the Seas. Until then, thanks for watching and see you back here soon on TV Cruise Channel.